When you have to reflex in situations with less than a second to execute, any excess motion in your preparation will make you late for the shot. Based on those conditions, let's look at how to improve our volley technique.
There's the drop volley, the swinging volley, the touch volley, the angle volley, the block volley. Don't panic, because we're going to show you in this video how to execute these shots.
We begin our study of basic volley technique with the grip behind tenacious net play. The continental grip is equally effective for both the forehand and backhand side, as well as for the bottom hand on two-handed backhand volleys. You can see in this illustration, the continental grip positions the V shape between your thumb and first finger, in line with the top edge of the grip. The continental grip provides the best support and control for the racket face at contact throughout your full range of coverage. Notice how the elbow is positioned inward, as the wrist remains in a strong position when using this grip. As you move forward on the attack, you must shift to the continental grip to close the points at net. Since this is also the preferred grip for serves and overheads, you'll find when you serve and volley, you never have to change your grip.
Well, how in the world can you volley with a grip like this? I mean, look at this grip. That's why you're so loose on the backhand side. When you hit, your racket head makes contact and you drop it right on down to here. Can't have that. Now let's get on over here into that continental grip. Let's firm up a little bit on contact. With this new grip, should eliminate about 90% of those problems.
With the continental grip in hand, we progress to the preparation on the forehand volley. Most of the time you will be volleying in quick reflex mode, so your preparation needs to be compact with no excess motions. Your objective is to prepare immediately for contact. You'll be using the pace that is already on the passing shots, so you won't need a backswing. A great analogy for understanding the preparation and mentality on the volley is to study the catch in baseball. Watch the right elbow closely as it prepares for the catch. There's no backward movement of the elbow. The arm and glove move forward to meet the ball. On the volley, the same movement should occur. You want to eliminate any backward movement of the elbow in your preparation on the volley. Even though his racket head may be going back slightly, his elbow is still going forward in the process. The best way to test and train the correct preparation habit is by positioning yourself up against the back fence and have someone feed you volleys. If your racket head hits the back fence, you're definitely taking a backswing. This exercise will help you eliminate backswing and teach you to come forward to meet the ball. Your preparation should position the racket in front of you so that your contact point is preferably between your shoulders and in line with the center of your chest. Your racket and arm should make an L shape, indicating strong leverage in the wrist position. On your basic block volley used in reflex situations, there's very little if any follow-through. Remember, you're thinking catch, not swing. On a block volley, the arm and racket function as one solid unit, blocking the ball like a backboard. To achieve depth, use your footwork to drive your body weight into contact to help provide punch to your volley, as your arm and racket remain firm. When the ball is well within your reach, you can create angle volleys by moving your contact point more out in front of you, allowing you to angle the racket face. For the inside-out angle volley, you must allow your hand to get a little ahead of your contact point to create the inside-out angle in the racket. When you have to lunge and reach for volleys, you can create angle in the racket face by adjusting the position of your wrist. For those softer angled touch volleys used to put away the ball, you must create the angle in your racket face, then be prepared to use your arm and racket like a shock absorber. To execute a drop volley, your arm and racket must again function like a shock absorber, absorbing nearly all the pace of the incoming shot. Your preparation positions the racket face directly to contact point position, and in your mind you're thinking catch the ball on contact. On impact, the wrist position maintains enough firmness to keep the racket and arm together as one solid unit. Watch how the elbow holds position, and on impact the lower forearm and racket recoil together, absorbing the shock of the ball. Make sure your hand doesn't grip too tightly, or you'll lose flexibility and feel for the shot. Your setup for the drop volley should have the same preparation as your deep volley, disguising the shot so the opponent can't anticipate the depth of your volleys. Your intent on the drop volley should not be to make the shot perfect, just good enough to force the opponent. If you go for the outright winners, you'll end up making too many errors in the long run. In many first volley situations, you'll have to execute the low volley, making contact just before the ball bounces. You must force yourself to get down for these shots by spreading your feet and really bending your knees. You should realize that the opponent has you in a defensive position, having hit the ball to your feet. So don't rush through this shot. Take the time to get the ball back into play. To give the ball lift over the net, you should angle the racket face so that it is open slightly. You should make every effort to get to the ball and volley it before it bounces, so that you don't lose offensive control of the point. But at times you will be caught in situations where you must half volley. Executing the half volley is not all that difficult if you keep it simple and don't panic. Treat it just like the low volley by getting down to make the shot. Determine where the ball will bounce, then position the racket head directly behind that spot. The closer you can position the racket behind the bounce, the better you can judge the height of contact and the timing. Using a slightly open racket face, you can either block the ball or add a little punch with a follow-through. The half volley drop shot is often a great solution to force the opponent, but avoid trying to make the shot better than it needs to be. When you're in a first volley situation, your low volleys and half volleys work like approach shots, used to improve your net position to close the point. Using the percentage shot pattern rule for approach shots, the down-the-line direction will provide the shortest path to reaching your closing net position for the next shot. When working with the low setup volleys near the center midcourt, choosing to hit the volley straight ahead, down the center of the court, reduces the passing shot angles and makes the lob a more difficult option for the opponent.
Recovery for the volley is even more important than recovery on the ground stroke. Why? You're right up there by the net. So the ball is going to reach you 25, 30, 40% quicker. So the initial volley is important, but the recovery for the second volley and the covering of position become even more essential.
The high volley can be a very awkward shot for many players, especially when the incoming ball is a high floater. Typically you get anxious to swing at it, and if you don't use the right technique, all too often the ball ends up hitting the fence in a fly. When you need to apply some pace to the volley, there's one key element to remember. As you prepare for the volley, with your elbow moving forward as the first move, you should angle the butt of the racket towards the ball. As the forward action begins, you drive the butt of the racket forward and down along the path like a waterfall. This action sends the racket face up into contact with plenty of pop. Notice there is no snapping of the wrist in this action. The wrist maintains the strong leverage position through contact. You can learn to add power with great control using this technique for the high floating volley. The swinging volley has always been a trademark of the Bollettieri Academy students. We teach this shot to be used as a tool for sneak attack out of the rally. It is basically nothing more than a regular ground stroke without letting the ball bounce. Shifting to the same grip you use on your forehand ground stroke, your backswing should be short and compact as you prepare to take a slightly low to high yet level stroke. Position yourself so you can work with the ball within your preferred contact zone. You should add some topspin and build margin of error into this shot as you try to force the opponent. Follow the shot to net as you would on any approach shot to close the point if necessary.
If you're an attacking player and you're able to shorten that swing and use the power of the opponent, you then can step into the court another foot or two and make contact with the ball. So the attacking player does have to make some adjustment.
As we shift our focus now to the backhand volleys, you'll see that many of the same principles we learned on the forehand volleys still apply. It is even more critical on the backhand side that you work with the continental grip to create leverage in your wrist. Notice the strong wrist position and the big L shape created between the racket and the arm. Watch how it never breaks down in the action. Maintaining this strong wrist position provides solid support to the racket face at contact for the various types of backhand volleys. To execute the basic one-handed backhand volley with underspin, your first reaction is a hip and shoulder turn so that your body is facing the point of contact. With the help of your opposite hand on the throat of the racket, you prepare the racket head so that it is positioned back near your opposite shoulder. You want to avoid taking the racket head too far back, getting it behind your body in your preparation. In this position, your hitting arm is bent and your elbow is centered between your shoulders. You can see the qualities of a strong foundation are in place, and the body weight is loaded onto the left side, ready to drive forward into contact. As the ball approaches, the body weight begins the action driving forward as the elbow begins to straighten out, sending the racket head into contact. The racket face is slightly open and produces a little underspin, making contact between the shoulders. You want to make contact just before your arm straightens out completely, which leaves you with a minimal follow-through after contact. The volley action comes from the elbow straightening out, not a swinging motion from the shoulder. The preparation drill we use for the forehand volley also works well for backhand volleys. Position yourself against the back fence as you reflex volley with your partner. If your racket head hits the fence in your preparation, you have too much backswing. Make yourself come forward to volley in this drill, then recover back against the fence. Now let's focus on the opposite arm as the forward action begins. You can see the two arms move in opposite directions. This keeps the shoulders firmly in place through contact, not allowing them to rotate open. Look how the shoulder blades come together, stretching the chest muscles as the back posture stays upright and strong. You'll find in the heat of battle that your opposite arm will work naturally to help you control your balance. Under tough circumstances, you'll be surprised to see the positions and actions happening with your opposite arm. The reflex block volley on the backhand side begins with a hip and shoulder turn as you reach directly to contact point position in your preparation. As your arm straightens out for contact, the racket head becomes more solid at impact, blocking the ball as you maintain the big L shape. Using the exact same preparation as the deep block volley, you can totally disguise the drop volley